Welcome back to another episode of Think Like a Brand. Today we have the incredible JoJo coming down to talk to us on the podcast. JoJo is a business mentor and all-over queen, and we're going to just get into burnout, messaging, what it takes to grow a business, because it's your second business that you're growing, and all things business life. So thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me, Boo. Turns out London's not the easiest, funnest place to drive to.
No, we've realised it's quicker to probably get back to Florida than it was for JoJo to come down here.
I think we should make that a pact to go to Florida every time we want to film a podcast together.
And it's funny that we speak all the time, like on DMs, and we only ever met in Florida. So this is the first time we've actually been in person meeting each other again.
Yeah. And we were just saying it's weird seeing each other in actual clothes. Like covered up.
Autumn clothes.
Yeah. Like not in like bikini and cute little glitzy outfits.
Okay, what should we start with? I want to start with how you already had like a 6-figure business in the fitness world and you tore it down because you got really burnt out. So let's go into that.
Oh my god, okay. I feel like this is there's so much to this story, and I guess the biggest piece of this for me was, so for context, I built my fitness, like fat loss, help you lose weight, be healthy. I built that business really fast as a personal trainer. And I started on the gym floor, and it was like, oh my God, so easy to build a business when you just be yourself on the gym floor. You've got thousands of potential leads in that gym every single day that are looking at you. And obviously with like our kind of personalities, that people are naturally drawn to that. And so I built up that business so fast, realised that like my books were full, I was capped in income, I was capped with how many people I could help. So I was like, right, let's figure out this online world before I really knew that it existed. But I was like, I need to find a way to like dish out training plans and help people in a different way that meant I get some of my time back. Because although I was young, like I started my business at maybe 18, I was like getting to the point where I was like 21 and it was like full-time, 6 a.m. starts, 10 p.m. finishers, didn't have a social life, I just kind of grew up really quickly because of that, because it was like all I wanted to do was just like hustle, build, like I'm so successful, like I want to be a business owner. I was like, everyone's like, oh my God, how's your little business thing?
Especially at 21.
Yeah, I felt like that girl, do you know what I mean? I was the fullest girl at the gym. Like every single personal trainer was like, couldn't touch me. Do you know what I mean? I was on it. And I loved it. I loved that kind of like status that came with it as well. And so I was just in pure hustle mode. Moved online and again, really quickly built that up just because all of the people that couldn't get onto the gym floor were now like, oh, she offers this other thing that means I can still work with her, but not like take up an hour of her time. And so built that up so quickly as well. I think I was like fully booked. I transferred all of my PT income to my online income within like a couple of months, which is kind of unheard of. It's usually really difficult to take your in-person business and chuck it online because it's a completely new way of marketing. But somehow, without any knowledge of marketing, anything like, without any sort of business plan or business coach, all of that sort of stuff, I built it up really quickly again. And then it got to the point where I realised that all of this work I was putting into my business, be it in person, online, all of the places, the thing that I actually loved doing was not fitness. And every single person who knew me, even in my fitness business, they will tell you like, JoJo hates fitness. Like she is not your typical fitness girly. And that served me to a point because obviously like the other girlies who were not fitness girlies wanted to work with me because they were like, oh, you're not a fitness girly and you still keep fit. How do you do it? And so that niche served me. But the more that I, again, traded time for money, even online, carried on working, building my business, hustle, the more I realised that I viscerally hate what I do. I love making people feel confident. I love coaching people. I love serving people. But the way that I was doing that, aka fitness, health, telling people they had to be a smaller version of themselves, whatever, just didn't sit right with me anymore. And so it gets to a point, and I think this is so a lot of people relate to this with burnout itself. When you are hustling for like no real reward for you, like internal reward, you burn out so fast. Like, the burnout for me didn't come from working too much. It was working so much towards like no vision, no goal, no desire, no like internal drive to do what I wanted to do anymore, and it just didn't feel good for me. And the point where I really noticed it was I was coaching a few business coaching clients on the side. I was doing a little bit of like business coaching for other coaches because they'd obviously seen just like how well my business was going, like the way that I sold my programs, like the way that I showed up on Instagram. They saw that and were like, I want to learn from this girl. And so people were coming to me behind the scenes. I was accepting them. I'm like, yeah, okay, we'll do some business coaching. Just try it on for size, see how it goes. And I remember I had 2 calls back to back. One was business mentorship and one was fitness. And I came out of that business mentorship call, I ran into my boyfriend, I was like, oh my God, I was like, this is the best call that ever lived. Like, oh my God, this is so fun. Like, I love this shit. It was stuff that, like, even when I was learning my personal training course, I was like just so in love with like, oh my God, this is how I could market this is how I could price my stuff. Like, oh, okay, how can I get clients in? Like, that side of things, I just always like was so drawn to it. But the fitness, and then I had the fitness call. And we were talking about nuts or something. And I was just sitting there like,
Nuts.
Yeah, like legit. She was like, you told me a couple of weeks ago I couldn't eat nuts. And I was like, what? I've never told anyone they shouldn't eat nuts.
The spark was coming back out then when you went into this.
And that's it. It's like, it's that like zest to want to do it. It's that will. It's that like, of course, why would I not go and coach my clients today? And I found with fitness, every single time I had a call, it was draining me. And I had to take a step back and be like, right, like compose myself, sort my life out. I'd have panic attacks going and filming content. And like, I loved filming content. I loved my videos. I loved serving people. I loved all of the likes and the validation that it got me. But I hated the stuff I was talking about. It was just like, you could just tell I was over it. And I think this is something, again, with burnout, of like giving yourself permission to just evolve to whichever stage you're at. It's like some people are scared to shift slightly into the thing they're really passionate about because, oh, well, what if people don't receive it? Or like this one was working so well. And for me, fitness, I built it to 6 figures. I built it to sold out programs. I built it to literally thousands and thousands of women knew me for what I was known for, which was helping you unfudge your diet club mentality. Like serving so many women, like everything was a sold out wait list. I had 300 people on a wait list. Wow. Who's going to be burning that down? Do you know what I mean? I don't want to burn that down.
That was so brave of you though. What like done it in the end for you to burn it down?
It was a really big moment. So it was my birthday. I think it was maybe middle of lockdown or maybe just after lockdown. I can't remember. I think it was middle of lockdown. And morning of my birthday, I'd launched a program that was my first like passive program. I'd been working on it for like nearly a year. It was one of those kitchen sink, this is everything program. Note to everyone who ever lived, don't do that. And I'd been working so hard on this, but the thing that I was telling myself every single time I worked on it, which was all day, every day, as soon as I get this launched, I can take a break. As soon as I finish this, as soon as this is done, I can pull back. The second this is over, the second I sell these spots, this is it. This is my moment. This is my big break. I can finally take time off. I can finally like get back to my relationships and my family and my life. Like I can actually take some time to just breathe. And for some reason unknown to man, I launched it on the day of my birthday and I didn't get anyone in. And bear in mind, I didn't really sell it because I didn't want to sell it because I was so burnt out and so stressed and didn't actually enjoy the stuff that I was talking about. So anyway, my birthday, I'm sitting on the kitchen floor, bawling my eyes out because everything rode on that launch. Everything was like, I needed that launch to slay to be able to take that break. And it didn't for the 1 second that I'd launched it and nobody bought. And I was crying to my boyfriend about it and he just like had no reaction. And I was like, bruh, I'm having a mental breakdown. How are you just like not interested in this right now? Like, I need the attention.
Love me.
Yeah, I was literally like, love me. like, hello, I'm here, I'm crying, I'm like deeply upset about this thing. This means so much to me, and it's flopped, and this is the worst thing that's ever happened. Like, my window of tolerance was just minute. And so I had this emotional breakdown on the floor in the kitchen, and my boyfriend turned to me and he was like, I just don't know what to believe of you anymore, because I can't trust your emotions, because you've cried every single day for the last 6 weeks, or I think it was like 13 weeks or something. He literally counted on his phone, which is snake behaviour, Chris, but love you still. But he was like, you have cried like every single day, you moan every single day, everything
Sorry,
you
really
do. Yeah, we love him, but like, bro. And it just got to the point where like it was boy who cried wolf, because everything
he was like bored of your shit.
Literally.
How did that make you feel?
I first of all was like, absolutely not, you're a snake, like, rude. This is not my fault. I'm emotionally spectrumed. Do you know what I mean? Like, sorry about me being agile with my emotions. And I'm like, sorry that you have the emotional capacity of a teaspoon. And then I was like, actually, no, this isn't okay. Like, I can't be so attached to anything that happens. It was like, it could be I jump off a client call and she didn't text me saying, oh my God, you're the best coach ever, thank you so much. And I'd be like, I must be shit. Like, this is the worst thing. Do you know what I mean? It was.
Do you think it like nearly caused you to break up?
No, it did.
Oh, it caused you to break up?
Pretty much. We sat down that day after I got all defensive about like, no, like, I just care so much about this. And he was like, you don't, because you moan about it every day. And it just made me sit back and go, like, he's not wrong. Like, why don't I? Because I love building my business. I love the idea of being my own boss. But why am I so, like, it was like so much friction towards doing anything. There was so much riding on everything I did. It was just, everything was just on the edge all the time. And he sat down with me and said, I don't think I can continue to live in a miserable existence with you for the rest of my life. And I
bet that broke you even more.
Well, I said, rude, who the hell do you think you are? I'm a cat. And then
and then I broke down.
And then I talked to my therapist about it. No. But I literally said to him, I was like, look, I am gonna see what I can do, but I have always been the queen of drama. You know, that's me. So I was like, half of me was like, that's just who I am. And then the other half was like, actually, doesn't need to be who I am, because actually this isn't sustainable.
Well, what a day.
To
it's
build
still
a
going on your birthday.
This is my birthday. Like, sorry, am I
Jesus
okay?
Christ.
Yeah, it was a very sad day. But I remember it because it was the day that everything took a turn.
That's mad.
The next part, though, came actually doing it. Because it's like, internally, I've made this decision. Okay, I'm burning this business down. Like, I can't keep doing this. I love coaching people to be a business owner and to like build their businesses. But I've been told for the last 2 years, who the hell are you to show other people how to build a business? You can't build a business. Like, you can't help people build a business. You shouldn't be a business mentor. Like, stick to what you know. Stick to what you know. You're good at that, so why don't you just keep doing that? This is safe. You know, I've been told.
How did it then come about to where you are now?
I'd quit the podcast. I'd quit kind of putting out a lot of content. And then one day I went on my Instagram and I was like, guys, something really big is happening. I just want to be vulnerable and tell you about it for a second. I'm not going to tell you what's going on, but there's a really big change coming, and I just want you to know I'm really excited about it. I would basically just lay my heart out on the table without saying what it was. Everybody thought I was announcing a pregnancy. And I was like, my new baby, aka business coaching. But that was literally, it was like, it felt like this, I needed to break the elephant in the room situation and tell the world. And I literally just did. I said, no more online coaching. And I really like stuck to that, because I was like, oh, I'll just take a couple on the side. And I was like, no, if I want to really do this, I've got to like go 2 feet in, commit to the bit. And I did. And I've never looked back.
How many years ago was that?
I think it was like maybe 2.5.
And then during those last 2.5 years, like, who's JoJo had to become to get to where you are today?
I mean, I am not joking when I say I evolve every single day. Like, every single day I'm a different iteration of me. And again, this kind of comes back to this burnout vibe of like, a component of burnout, by the way, is like not progressing. So like staying still, staying stuck, not learning and growing and, you know, embracing more opportunities. And I realised that in my fitness business, that's what I was doing. I was staying stuck. I was like, I know everything. I'm really good at what I do. La la la. I was staying the same. I wasn't taking on these opportunities to learn. Now I'm like, give me it all. Like, let me go to this thing. Let me do this thing. Let me do that. Because every single day I know I can be better at what I do. And because of that, my clients evolve faster. They get better results for it. I get better results. I feel so, like, one of my values is constant learning. So I don't know if this really resonates with everybody, but like, I'm like obsessed with just continuously, like, I call it like Russian dolling, where like you just open up the Russian doll and there's a new version of you. Open it up again. Oh my god, a new one.
I literally love that.
But it is like, and it's not, I need to keep shape-shifting and being a different person. It's how can I be more and more of me? And this is something I do so much in my coaching with my girls, because if you are being wholly yourself, you are embracing the stuff you are obsessed with, the stuff you love talking about, the stuff you're passionate as shit about, that you waffle on a podcast for 7 hours too long because you can't literally shut up. Like,
that's what you're supposed to be doing.
Exactly that. And if you're not doing that, you can build a successful business. I did it. 6 figures, thousands of clients, thousands of messages every single day, like, you're amazing, la la la. The validation will be there, but you will never be happy. You will never be content. And when you're not happy and you're not content, guess what? You're not consistent. Go on.
What are you most proud of today, or of who you've become during this journey?
It's changed very recently.
What are you most proud of, like, right now?
Being sorry, that's so distracting. Being the type of person that shows up for herself. And by the way, this is within the last 2 weeks.
And what does that mean, showing up for herself?
Like, I am extraordinary at hiding when shit gets hard. I am the queen of ghosting the world when shit hits the fan, or like avoiding challenges because gross. And I think this came from this burnout vibe of, I am allergic to hustle, truly. Like, truly hives allergic to any sort of hard work. And so for the longest time, for those 2.5 years, or maybe I would say 2 years, I was like, if it ain't fun and easy and effortless and like pure just chill, I'm not doing it. If it doesn't feel good for me, I'm not doing it. And now I see that I needed both those sides. I needed the hustle queen who built the big business and then burnt it down. I needed the only chill, only like enjoyable stuff, only stuff that I really am excited to do. And if I'm not excited, I'm not going to show up. But now I've got the middle ground that isn't really the middle ground. It's like spirals above this. But I've gotten to the point now where I'm like, you get to hustle hard for what you truly adore, what you truly love, what you truly believe in, the stuff that you stand for. You get to hustle hard for that, because that hustle doesn't burn you out.
It's not even called hustle. We can make another name of it called.
Yeah, like sometimes I call it aligned hustle, because you're like shuffling in line with,
and it feels good. It's like you're dancing.
Exactly, but that's it, because it doesn't feel, and everyone's like, oh, work shouldn't feel like work, but it's like, no, work's gonna feel like work. Like, no offense, love you so much, but it was work for me to get out of bed with jet lag and come here to this podcast studio today. It was work. Do you know what I mean? With a capital W-E-R-K.
Don't worry. I don't know how you came up from like planet up there.
And I didn't sleep last night either.
Oh, you
it's
look
a hard
good.
life. Thank you so much, always. But I think that's it. It's like when you really care about something, you're going to put the effort in, but you're also going to like do the work behind the scenes to become the person that can hold it, because I couldn't hold it even though I was good at it. I think you've got to have kind of 3 things. You've got to be good at it, you've got to love it, and you've got to be able to communicate those 2 things to other people.
So true. And actually on that,
go on.
The conversation that we had in America when it comes to personality, actual real personality, like that you see in person, how have you found that your personality and being like really approachable has helped you scale this business?
I'm approachable.
Because we said this in it, basically anyone who's listening in America, we both said that you can almost put on a very good personality online if you learn how to market yourself. Because if you can market a personality, you can be whoever you want and still be successful. The minute you're in person and someone actually starts speaking to you, you can't market that version of you anymore. It's like the true version of you. And we had this conversation. I feel like it has to be brought here today.
Yeah, I actually have no idea what you're talking about, but I, like I said, I don't remember this conversation.
We basically said that our personality can get us to where we want to go because we are just like...
Right, I see. So like authentically
yeah, we can just like... We're so weird. Like we are quite...
What do you mean?
We were dancing around the Airbnb with celery sticks in our hands. And I feel like there's this big thing online of like, you should hide that because it's weird. But we actually realised that is what makes us up.
Yeah, and I think this is huge because actually it's not about being the weirdo.
You were like, no.
I'm not, I don't remember the conversation, but I have something to say on this. But I do think so. When you show up as a certain persona online, and a lot of people do because it feels gross, it feels vulnerable, it feels very like being naked. Do you know what I mean? That's what it feels like when you go online and you're just yourself. A lot of people have learned from a very early age that that's not acceptable. No matter where you are, whether you're at school and they're like, oh, you're embarrassing, you're cringe because you're doing this, and then people hide parts of their personality. This is what I mean with the Russian doll, like opening up more and more of you. And it's like, if you are truly yourself, and I think we've nailed it. Do you know what I mean? I think we've nailed it.
Like
and
Florida done that to us.
Yeah, I think it was just being in a room where where you saw everybody else also letting it be okay to do it.
Yeah.
And I think, again, online, you see these versions of people, you see sides of people, and to some extent, you're going to see sides of us. But I think what we've done really well, both of us, is allowed us to be online. And again, we keep kind of pulling parts out, and that's okay because growth, evolution. But I think when you feel like you have to show up a certain way, which a lot of people do, and I get it, and I did for a long time. I never actually did show up a certain way because I was like, CBA, too much effort. But I was very aware that it didn't feel acceptable for me to do it.
When you feel like it's pulling teeth, you're trying to be someone else.
And that is the problem that so many coaches, content creators, online business owners have is they're finding content creation so hard. They're finding going live so hard. They're finding going on stories and talking about their offer so hard because it's not them.
And it is okay if you have felt that, because I've been like that, you've been like that, everyone's been like that. But it's also, what do they do then? What would you say to someone?
Yeah, so immediately it's like, I was about to vomit in my mouth because I was about to say practice makes perfect, but it doesn't. Moving gets over the fear of doing it. So, I don't want to go live, it's too scary. Good, go live. Show us. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, go on, do it. What will happen?
Podcast, you don't want to come on a podcast.
Don't want to go on a podcast because you're worried that you're not going to have anything to say. Guess what? Yap, yap, yap. Oh, shit, I'm a genius.
Yeah.
Like, you start to uncover these pieces of you that you didn't know you had in you because you've never let yourself just freaking go for it. And people are doing that with their personalities. They go, even like, we had a conversation where you were, not to out you, but we were, she's like, what are we going to say?
I know exactly
you were filming yourself and you did something and I was like, oh, I can't.
I said
that's
the weirdest
funny.
thing.
And then she deleted it. And I was like, bro, what are you doing?
Changed my life?
Honestly, I think about that daily.
I actually think about that daily.
Yeah.
I basically said, I don't know what I said something really weird, and this comes back down to when I was younger. When I used to say something weird, I would get made like Twitter threads out of me. And so now, if that came out, I would delete it because of that memory. And then JoJo called me out on my shit. She was like, what are you doing? And I was like, I'm just going to refilm it. And she was like, but that's you. Like, that's what people buy into.
Yeah.
Ever since then, I kid you not how much, like, I would just post something and post it.
Yeah, and how much easier, faster, more confident do you feel in it? Like, every part of building your business gets easier when it comes back to you. So, like, I call it soul-infused strategy. It's just everything that you do. If you put who you are into it, guess what? You get consistent as shit.
Yeah.
It's easy to do. It feels like, oh my God, a weight has been lifted because I don't feel like I have to do something a certain way. And so it feels inauthentic or gross or icky for me to show up. You just show up. And then you show up so much more. The right people get to find you because I imagine, and with every single time you've deleted that Instagram story, deleted that post,
it's attracting the wrong people.
You're attracting the wrong people. Like, start attracting the people you actually want to attract.
And it feels like heavy. It's this feeling of, like, I don't know how to describe it. It is just in a lull all the time, and you're just like, meh.
And like,
and
you're afraid of being judged. So like, what's the point? It's like if you're still scared to be judged because you put out a post that was kind of a little bit copy of someone else's because you thought you should say it. Like we've all been there, right? We've put a post out and it's kind of been a bit of like, oh, I got that idea from someone else, or I felt like it was a bit the samey as someone else has just done. You feel gross about it anyway. It's like if you're gonna feel gross, you might as well
up and do it.
You might as well just be you in it, and then you get to feel, because this is the thing, and this is what happened when the second I decided to burn down that business and go to what I actually truly loved doing from the get-go, which was building people's confidence and building businesses. Like the second I just dropped the sides of me that didn't feel like me, I felt like I was home.
Yeah. Ooh, mic drop.
Get it
that right here? I'm joking.
We can't drop
that.
That's
so true.
But that's it.
That is so true though. And like honestly, that is it. That's the magic. When you can feel at home within yourself and go online.
Yeah.
And like not have to be centre of attention, not have to get all the like sign up straight away, like not have to get any external validation, and then still feel enough.
Yeah.
If you can hold that feeling, you will always get to like where you want to get to.
Yeah. And I think it is easier said than done.
I'm going to come back to like how to be more of yourself. So what would you say to people if right now they feel like they're just currently being someone else and they're not? What would you say to them?
Immediately, like, stop looking at what anybody else is doing online. And easier said than done. No, just stop scrolling. Like, stop scrolling, stop looking at other accounts, because there is literally no need. Like, if you are truly in a realm of your own, in a business of your own, you want to be the top of your own industry, nobody else's content matters. Delete it all from existence. Another one that you're going to hate me for, and I'm probably going to get death threats online over, binge ChatGPT. Just for a sec. Just bin it. Because every single time you go, I don't know what to post. Tap, tap, tap. What should I post today?
I would say bin it though when you've not found your own voice.
Yeah, well,
if you're using ChatGPT like strategically, it could work.
Yeah.
If you do it well, but you don't rely on it.
And this is the thing, people are relying on it. And you can see it in content. You can see people relying on it, and people kind of like not trusting what they have to say online. And that comes into like being who you are, because if you can trust yourself to just go live and say what you want to say, go on stories, yap yap yap, do a post, tap tap tap, like if you can just get it out there without thinking I need to perfect this, or I need to figure out the right thing to say to sign my next client, so I'm just quickly going to check it with ChatGPT or check it against somebody else's account. When you can just start using your own creativity instead of relying and leaning on literally anything external, whether that's like asking somebody else's opinion, going online and scrolling through trends, like if you can just bin all of that for just 1 second, you'll start to get way more trust built with what you actually want to say to the world.
And I think spend some time on your own. I have to add that to there.
Ew, gross. I'm kidding. Go on.
Yeah, not like
me alone.
No, but like in Florida, those 5 days on my own, I was just like on one.
Yeah.
You're so much more creative, you're so much more like listening to what you actually want to listen to. And I feel like many people these days don't spend time on their own because either you're scared of it, no offense, no joking, or two, I just think it's not something that we do. But when you spend some time on your own, you actually start to trust yourself a lot more. And messy action.
Yeah, and the other thing as well with being alone is, not that I would know, but you start to understand more of who you actually are. And I think this is like, even just me flying to Florida on my own, I don't know why I said flying like a loser, but like just doing that, the second I stepped off that plane, I was like, wow,
yeah.
And it's the
trust within yourself.
Exactly that. It's like, it's figuring out like, well, what do I want to eat? Like just tiny things like that. Like, how does that relate to marketing and brand and content? It absolutely does. Because the more you start understanding who you are as an actual person, the more that can translate to social media. That doesn't mean like, oh, now you have to start sharing your Nando's order every time.
It's true. I feel like if you can't trust yourself, you can't expect someone to pay you.
No. If you don't have confidence in who you are, why should anyone else? If you don't trust your opinions, why should anyone else? If you don't believe in yourself, why should anybody else? It's like, if you truly want to build a successful business, A, understand who the hell you are and why you are the one to do what you do, and B, get really freaking good at telling people about it.
Yeah, and if you can do that on repeat, you will get
rinse and repeat, baby,
100%.
every single day.
Okay, I love this, but I feel like we could talk all evening. We're going to do another episode around messaging, but we're going to do it another time.
Yeah.
Anything that's going on right now or early January that you want to tell people about?
Oh my god. No, just enjoy my Instagram and my life.
Where can they find you on Instagram?
At Thrive with JoJo on Instagram. That's pretty much it. Come into my DMs, say hi, binge my content. I've got the Biz Queen podcast actually coming back. You're going to be a guest on it. You're already a guest on it, but we filmed the episode last year. Love that for me. Yeah, Biz Queen
We're definitely two different
podcast
people.
and Thrive with JoJo.
Okay, cool. And you've got so much going out in January because I already know about it, so keep your eyes peeled. But thank you everyone for listening, and remember to keep thinking like a brand.